Welcome back to Benchwarmers. Hard to fathom, but there will be no football games this fall for our local FCS programs. No Jackrabbits taking on the Coyotes, no Bison taking on the Fighting Hawks after the Missouri Valley Conference, like pretty much everybody else in the country, called off the fall season with hopes of playing conference games sometime next spring. We got a few minutes on Monday this week with South Dakota State head coach John Stiegelmeier to get a feel for how stunning this is for him and his guys and what happens now and in the next few months ahead.
All right, let's start with this. Coach, I had all kinds of feelings about this, anxiety, even some anger, disappointment, hearing that the fall season for the Missouri Valley was canceled. What's it been like for you guys, you and your coaches and your players just a couple of days ago when you heard all the news?
Well, you know, coaches, they have a plan for everything, right? And obviously we had talked about the possibility of this. When it became real, I think we all were prepared for it. I think our team was prepared for it, but they didn't want to hear it. And so there's been kind of really a mentoring period now of getting our players through this time and looking forward to, okay, what is each senior going to do with potentially playing in the spring, all that stuff.
All right, I'm assuming that you and your players, everybody wanted to play. They were all on board about playing a schedule this fall. Is that true to assume that, or was there some apprehension maybe with some people the other way that maybe they didn't want to participate this fall? Was there some of that?
We proposed that to our team and wanted to be real with us, and we only had one student athlete. His parents wanted to know if they were going to have to sign things. So from the outside, our guys were all on board and ready to go. I will say this, Tom, we said, back in March, we said every decision we make is going to be for, number one, the welfare of our team is the priority. And so I think this is the right decision for that, for the health of our football team.
All right, as far as what's going on now, did you get some practices started last week? What's practice? Are you practicing now?
We're doing walkthroughs now. We did not get any practices in. We were supposed to start the 7th. Really, that's when all this stuff came down. Our president and athletic director asked us to put that off a while because we didn't have a game scheduled until the 26th of September. So, and that was the right decision. So really all we're doing is mental stuff right now.
All right. And can you continue to maybe not practice, but as you said, at least be in contact with your team and have meetings and those kinds of things, or even in the next week or two here, what happens?
Yeah. We're gonna start fall camp on the 17th, and we're gonna approach it a week from today. We're gonna approach it. We're hoping to approach it like spring ball, where we're gonna get 15 practices in, develop our skills, get the offense, defense, special teams in, end with a spring game. If we schedule a game or two, then we'll end with that type of deal. But we're surely not going to practice for 4 months straight here in the fall with nothing really to look forward to.
Gotcha. And there's a chance of playing some non-conference games this fall. That's not set yet, but there's a possibility there.
There is. Yeah. The decision was made that up to 3 non-conference games. I don't know what's happened with some of the guarantee games for the other teams, but we did have, I think, 4 or 5 teams that had FBS games that were still on the docket. Honestly, I wish all of football would go follow our lead, and then we'd all be on the same page. But I'm not in charge of FBS, so that's just a wish for me. I think it's being hard for our players, Tom, to watch football, college football on TV this fall and not be able to play it themselves.
Yeah, and as we sit here on Monday, there's a possibility by Wednesday that could change and nobody could be playing football this fall. And it just boggles the mind. But you talk about a spring conference season. What does that look like? When would you play?
We would start the season sometime in March. I think the goal would be to get 8 games in, and then all the conferences that do that have probably a pared down FCS playoff. I mean, our guys the huge majority are in favor of playing in the spring if there's an FCS playoff. That's kind of our mentality here, that's how our season works. That's what we play for, having been in the playoffs so many years straight. So I think that would be good. I don't know. You say, how will it work? We've got a beautiful indoor. You've been in it to practice in, but I've also seen blizzards that shut down the school here in April. So I don't know how it would work, but I think it'd be pretty cool for our players and fans to be able to play in the spring.
All right, you touched on what it's like for your seniors right now, the emotions and everything else they got to be going through, and just that in general. But you're going to have some more NFL prospects: Kate Johnson, Wes Janant, Logan Backus, some of these guys, and that might get a little strange in a spring season, couldn't it?
Yeah, there's so many different scenarios for those guys, and we have 20 seniors, Tom. We got one guy we got two guys going to med school. We got one guy going to law school. We got the NFL guys, and this just really throws a whole different situation for them. And so I understand. I'm for pursuing your dream, whether it's in terms of profession or the sport. And so whatever they decide, we'll be behind them, and so on. I wouldn't want a young man to put off anything and make football the most important thing in their life. I would never want them to do that.
All right. And as you said, still plenty to be sorted out at this point. You said coaches prepare for everything, but I mean, this has been a huge test of that kind of statement, isn't it?
It is. And just as you said, it could all change Wednesday. We're ever evolving. I think I went through probably 6 or 7 different practice scenarios, with, we can't all locker in the locker at the same time. Social distancing doesn't allow us to be in the locker, all of us. So we really have a plan for 2 different practices. One group goes in, they go practice for an hour, and the other group comes in and we mesh in the middle, do special teams, and then the first group leaves, and that's the cards we're dealt with. Totally different than we've ever had. We lift by roommates, because they don't have to social distance a roommate, and all those things have been totally different this year.
All right. So the rest of this week, starting like Wednesday to Friday this week, you're planning, you're meeting with, as you said, get together with some of your seniors and see where their heads are at. But what else is going on later on this week?
Well, we got a really cool thing on Tuesday. The chaplain from the Kansas City Chiefs is coming up to do an FCA event in town here to kick off the school year. And so he's going to visit with our players Tuesday morning. I think the guys will really enjoy. I know they'll really enjoy that. Again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're lifting and running, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we're meeting via Zoom, and walking through football stuff. There's 2 ends of the spectrum here. I don't want to forget to not address this. So we have the seniors that had their year kind of turned around. Then you have these 30 true freshmen that come in, and how do you build camaraderie and bonding and so on when you're visiting with them on the Zoom and they're stuck with their roommates, and you can't have a position meeting. And so we're really, on that note, we're really trying to do some things with our true freshmen to get them to get over the homesick deal and attach themselves to South Dakota State and South Dakota State football.
Yeah, and you have talked for years and years and years about this. You've got the football part of what you do, and then the mentoring and turning these young men into men, and that is probably coming to the forefront even more at this point in time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And during fall camp, we have what we call Stig Pop. We have a meeting at the end of the day, and the seniors address the team. Each one of them gets a 10, 15-minute slot to address the team, talk about their experience and stuff. That stuff's all done. We can't do it. And I asked our seniors, do you want to do your senior talk via Zoom? And they said, it's not the same, Coach. Somehow, some way, we want to do it in person. So we're trying to work that out also. So, but really, we're all individuals, and God made us so when we battle through tough things, we're stronger because of this. And South Dakota State football is going to be stronger because of this thing we're going through right now.
All right. It's good to see your office, even if it is through Zoom. So
it's good to be in my office.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Good to talk to you. Hope we see some football this fall. We'll be in touch.
All right. Take care. Good to see you.
Thanks, John.
And just my own thought, but the likelihood of the Jacks playing any non-conference games is probably slim to none. Just doesn't make any sense to try and play only those games and not conference games. But the school will determine the best course and make the call on that coming up soon.